What's going on, everybody? It's LaTroy here again for another episode of Troy Life. I'm thinking about changing the name of this. I'm not sure yet, so if you see the name change in the future, just stay with me and fly above all the haters. But I wanted to do something a little different, a little lighter, a little funner this time because the other few videos have been kind of heavy and deep. And I told you I was going to be telling you all my business. And this subject is something I don't really talk about a lot. And I wanted to share this story with you guys about how I almost ended up being a sex addict. And I never went through a whole phase ever in my whole life. But something happened that just clicked in me where I was just like laying it low and spreading it wide or spreading it wide and laying it low. I think I know what I do know what it is. And it's the fact that uh, we'll get into that until another video. But I had to catch myself because I I've never had an STD in 36 years. And I thought that I had gotten STD. And I was like, how childish and crazy is it to wait 36 years to get an STD? So I went and I got all the tests and it wasn't an STD. But then I was like, okay, maybe you need to slow down. And I was talking to my doctor about it, and she was like, well, how many sexual partners have you had recently? And I said, whoa, wait. I was like, somebody got to start minding their business. But I was honest with her about the number. Everybody mind their business. And I actually, that is when I started prep. And then what's the one afterwards that you take afterwards? Prep. And then there is, and started taking doxypep as well, because I felt like I was getting a little out of control. And I literally thought to myself, I was like, Latoya, you're becoming a sex addict. Like, what are you going to do about this? There was a point where I realized that my relationship with sex was becoming more toxic when I'm going to be quite completely honest. I forgot somebody that I had sex with, and they came up to me in trunks and was like trying to reminisce on the love we had, very much Mary J. Blige. And I had no recollection of having sex with this man. Like, I don't even know like if we was reversible or if I was the top or if I was the bottom. I cannot tell you. And that has never been me. I've always been able to count my sexual partners on my fingers, on my hand, and it got to a point where I need to start using my fingers, my feet, some of my friends' fingers, some of my friends' feet, to count the people that I was with. And that was a point where I said, well, hold on, LaTroy, this is getting a little bit too far. You having sex with people that you don't remember at all is an issue for me. Now, some people, that's normal for them. Like they would be like, oh yeah, they had sex with somebody, they don't remember it. But for me, that was something that was totally different than what I'm used to and how I am sexually and how I am sexually active. I think that I started lashing out using sex when somebody that I was really, really, I was in love with that I shouldn't have been in love with, told me that, one day that they're not available to me anymore. Right. And that's like, a whoa, that's a dagger. And so being told that by somebody that you love and that you think that you're in love with, that they're not available to you anymore, you're like, oh, I'm about to go out and find everybody that's available to me. So I think that played a large part in my sexual deviation and in my pre-sexual addiction was me trying to mask the fact that, oh, okay, the person that I want to be available to me is not available to me. So let me go ahead and find all the people that are available to me, and that's what I ended up doing. I don't think anybody in my life, like friends, knew that my sexual habits had changed, but there were, how you have friends and associates that are your friends and your associate, but there's a little bit of, piece of something sweet there. I think they started noticing because I was more available to people that had been trying to, get at me for a minute. So I don't know if my friends really realized it, like my friends' friends, but I definitely tapped into the associate club friend box of it made me feel better, I guess, sleeping with people that I could kind of say that I knew and wasn't just random strangers. besides that one person that came up to me in the club. But I don't think any of my friends really knew. I think my friends knew how hurt I was by somebody that just one day decided they weren't available to me. But I don't think they realized what I was doing to cope with it. And I don't think that I realized that I was doing that to cope with it until I really just had to sit down and be like, dog, you had sex with this man and you don't remember him. I felt like when I felt like when I was on my sexual escapades, I didn't feel alone. I feel like all my friends was doing it. And all my friends was like, "You could have been doing this." They said that indirectly over time, and I think that's why I was so comfortable, kind of just diving in because in the community, especially our community, the Let God Be True Quickly community, we are known to be devious and we are known to be sexually promiscuous. And I think that allowed me to be more comfortable and almost, get on the edge of having a addiction because everybody else was already doing it. So I was just joining the team, I felt like. But also, everything ain't for everyone. And I didn't really like how I felt afterwards when I thought about the amount of people. I keep saying the amount of people. Y'all gonna think I was out here sleeping with the whole making the band. I mean, it was a few of them, 2 chains that got me a few of them, but it definitely was a lot more than normal. And I felt kind of welcomed and in a safe space, knowing that my friends, say my friend, I'm not trying to tell my friends' business, but knowing that I know people that kind of operate that way. And I think that is why I was able to to take that route and take it so easily and so quickly because I knew I wouldn't be judged if my friends found out that I was out here being a whore. Which, to be honest, even looking back at everything, I don't really feel guilty about that time that I had. It was like 2 or 3 months. Um, the only guiltiness I really feel was this boy that came up to me in the club saying that I feel like I should make him take a lie detector test because that's really weird that I don't remember him. But I feel that that's the only thing that made me feel guilty in that space. Because even looking back, I was not sleeping with nobody's man. I was being safe. There were no drugs or anything involved. I was just having a lot of sex and a lot more sex than I usually would have. And I don't think that I should feel guilty for that. I am glad that I'm aware of that, and now that I know that, and now that I am, taking precautions, well, extra precautions than I was taking before, because now I am more prone to be like, yo, if I meet somebody at the club and I want a piece of something sweet, then I'm not frowning my nose up of going home with that person or having that person go home with me. So I don't feel guilty. I just feel more aware. And yeah, that's how I feel guilty for what? I mean, I'm grown. I feel like as long as I ain't sleep with nobody's man, although I wanted to, I a-okay. There was always this line that I straddled of it being an addiction versus just being an adult and having sex. And I think I felt it was an addiction for me because I was doing it in excess, excuse me, and doing it very fast and doing it was out of character for me. And I feel like when you start doing something and you do it a lot and it's out of character for you, you are developing an addiction. As to where if you're a person that's just how you operate. You like sex. You need sex 5 times a day. Then that's you. There's nothing wrong with that. But I knew it was an addiction for me because it wasn't. I was like stepping outside of myself. It's just like people that smoke weed, right? Some people smoke weed every day, the whole wake and bake thing. For them, that's normal. I don't feel like that's an addiction. That's just part of their life and who they are. But if I were just to start smoking weed out of nowhere and smoking weed every day, wake and bake, all of my friends would be like, "Yo, Latroy, what's going on with you? Like, that's not you. That's not how we know you to be and know who you are." So I feel like that's what made the difference of it being my lifestyle versus it being an addiction is that I was indulging in something that was not part of my lifestyle. And honestly, now that I have acknowledged it, it's not something that I have continued to do. I have definitely slowed down. I have definitely um, started picking my sexual partners better and picking people that I will remember in the club just because that's my lifestyle. I'm not an overly sexual person. You guys know I don't really talk about sex a lot like that. But I just wanted to talk about this because I think it's like a little like not as heavy as the other stuff. Child, it's a whole bunch of drama. But yeah, I think that's the difference between it becoming an addiction is it's something you started doing because of something else and it's outside of your norm as to where if that's just your lifestyle and you love sex, that's just on you. Like, just like I love Tito's. I mean, it is what it is. I'm actually really glad that I went through this pre-sex addiction phase. I'm glad because I now know I have the ability to just let myself go. And that could be a good thing and could be a bad thing. You know, you can let yourself go and really let go. But I now know that I have it in me to change things up, to exit a safe zone, to try different things, to it also taught me to not be judgmental to people that are there is their lifestyle is they're very sexual, they're very, you know, laying low and spread wide all the time. It made me feel like, well, that could be me, and that was almost me. So I think the biggest lesson that I learned from all of this is that although sex can be a very convoluted thing. It can also be a very normal thing. It can be a very casual thing. It can be a coping thing. Sex is more than just getting, I feel like that's what I learned. Is sex is more than just getting off. You know, it's there's a lot of different things that go into sex. There's intimacy, there's just horniness, there's using sex to mask other things, there's sex being part of your lifestyle. It's just it taught me that sex is just so much more than getting a nut because I I wasn't really just doing it to get the nut. I was just like, what was it Halle Berry said? I just want to feel good. That's how I was feeling during that time. I'm like, oh, I just want to feel good because how do you tell somebody that was available to you that you're not available to them no more? And like, what am I supposed to do? Like, so I definitely it changed my perception of sex as I look at other people and their sexual activity. Because I did, I'm gonna be honest, I used to look at some of my friends and be like, oh, my friend is a whore. But no, that's just what they like. That's just like that's what they want to do. I mean, people call me an alcoholic all the time, right? Because I like a little cup of Tito's. So I can't be judging people um, for something that I have indulged in myself. Another thing that I think kind of like knocked me on my head and was like, get it together, Kelly, get it together, is that not only was I having a lot of sex, I was, I'll be honest, not always being safe. Um, and that's why when I thought I had that STD at the 36 years and never having one, it was because, I'll be honest, I had been sexually active with someone and didn't use protection. So, you know, you just start thinking that, oh my God, my throat is itching, or oh my God, like, why is it like, why am I scratching down there so much? Like, it's just like all the stuff in your mind. And I really, that I will never go back to. I would never go back to like a raunchy, promiscuous place of where I was, kind of irresponsible in the sex. I was having sex with people off of the apps. I was not having unprotected sex with those people, but I did meet a few people on, the Jacked and the Grinder, and Instagram. That's another thing. People need to stop trying to shade Jacked and Grinder because people use Instagram and Twitter just like they use Jacked and Grinder. But that's neither here nor there. But I think that it taught me I'm not the type of person that likes taking that risk of not knowing what I'm getting myself into as far as my health. I'm a big health guy, and to even just know that I put myself in those positions I still look back like, damn, mature, you kind of fucked that up. Like you shouldn't have, you should have been smarter. But again, it was a pre-sex addiction. Not, I didn't get all the way there. I didn't sign the paperwork, but I was almost there. But in the words of Brandy, almost does not count. I don't feel like I missed out on anybody, during this sexual trial. I'm gonna call it a sexual trial. You know how like AOL used to send you those discs in the mail, and you got a 90-day free trial. That's what that was for me. I don't feel like I missed out on anything or anyone during that period. I was still open to uh, dating people. But I also, just to be honest, I was still in love with somebody that I couldn't be in love with and shouldn't have been in love with. So I was not ever really like looking, like I wasn't pouncing like, in The Lion King, how Mufasa was teaching Simba how to pounce. It never gave that. It went strictly from, oh wow, now you're telling me you're not available to me being a pre-sex addict to then, you know, being a post pre sex addict. But I don't think that I ever really missed out on anyone because I was always available. Obviously, I was available. If I'm out here laying it low and spreading it wide, I was available. But I don't think that that phase in my life like took anything away from me finding a partner or somebody that I really want to be with. Because I don't even know what that looks like. I don't even know what having a partner even looks like these days. I don't know. I think a healthy sex life is a life that works for you. Um, a life that is sexual life that is responsible, that is honest, that is open. Um, uh, it's different for everybody. Like I say, for me, it was a pre-sex addiction. But some people I've talked to about it, they're like, "Oh, that's it. They like, girl, I did that during Pride in Atlanta." I'm like, "Whoa, that's y'all really be doing that?" So I don't know if there's no universal sexual health and sexual activity. It's different for everyone, and because sex means different things to different people. Like for me, people think I'm crazy because I say I don't kiss booty calls. Like I do not. Like if this is just a booty call, I'm not kissing you. And people are like, well, you'll have sex with somebody, but you won't kiss them. Absolutely, because like most of the time, either they face is in the pillow or my face is in the pillow. Ain't no kissing. You know what I'm saying? So people think that's weird, but other people are like, I'm not having sex with somebody that I won't kiss. And again, that's just why sex and the idea of sex is different for everyone. And that's why it was important for me to point out and to address the fact that my sexual life was no longer the sexual life that I had been used to. And I think it's very important to um, remind yourself and to acknowledge when things in you have changed and changed drastically. And I think sex plays a big part just in everything, like in everything. And so for me to notice such a change in my sexual life, um, I just thought it was time to actually address it head on. And now I'm more responsible. I'm still going. I will say I'm still going. I am a little bit more available for sex than I was before, but I'm not as available as I was during my pre-sex addiction phase. And yes, I'm going to keep saying pre-sex addiction because if I say I was a sex addict, they're going to always keep it and say that was not me. It was pre, just like pre-check. Okay. When it comes to sex, just in general, I think people, especially when it becomes like, oh, they have a lot of sex or they're a whore, they sleep with everybody, and it becomes they have a sex addiction. Um, I think that people should be more. They should give people more grace because you don't know why they're doing it. That could just be something they really like to do. Just like some people like going to the gym. I hate going to the gym. You know what I'm saying? Just like some people like reading. I, bitch, I ain't all them Harry Potters. I ain't read all them. Some people hate, you know, seafood or whatever. Or some people need certain things. Some people need sex. Some people need that validation. I don't know at what point it becomes a sex addiction. All I can say is that I felt myself going to what I feel was a sex addiction, which is needing sex and needing sex for validation and not satisfaction. And that is what made me feel like, oh, I was becoming a sex addict because it wasn't about just the sex anymore. It became about the validation. It became, like I said before, about somebody telling me they're not available to me anymore, and I'm like, okay, well, cool, you're not available to me. Let me, like, in my head, I'm thinking about, well, let me show you everybody that is available to me. And obviously he didn't care because he had went ahead and freed himself like Fantasia. But I think that for me is why I thought it was a pre-sex addiction, because I felt myself going towards a way that wasn't me. And again, I feel like addiction looks different for everyone. And that's just, that's with alcohol, that's with drugs, that's with shopping, that's with sex. Addiction is different for everyone. So I can't speak for why other people are deemed sex addicts or if they have a problem. All I can say was I felt like I was getting a little bit too out there. And again, I'm gonna keep saying that man come up to the club with me, telling me he had been to my house and had sex with me, and I don't remember it. And I thought he was lying, and so I asked him to describe my living room, and he knew what the living room looked like, so he must have been there. So again, like it's just different. It's kind of like when people drink and they black out, right? And they don't remember anything the next day. And they're like, I'm never drinking again, or I'm never drinking that much again. For me, it was like, it's likened to that. It's, I woke up in a new Bugatti. No, but I woke up and I was like, I blacked out. I'm not doing that again. I blacked out sexually. I don't remember somebody I had sex with. So to me, I'm developing an addiction and I'm going to stop it. But don't get me wrong, I still get my life. After talking about all of this, if I was thinking about it, if I could go back and change that period of time of my life, I would change the reason why I did it. Um, I would change if I want to be out there and I want to be in the streets and I want to be overly sexually active and I want to just feel that. I would I would just do it for me and because I wanted to, and not because I was trying to mask something. If somebody that was always available to you is no longer available to you, it's like at Blockbuster. If the one movie's not there, then you go get another one. And if that's not there, you go get another one, and you go get another one. And in that part of my life, if I could change anything, it would be the reason why I did it. And I honestly feel like if I changed the reason why I did it, I wouldn't have done it at all in all, I feel there are a lot of lessons in that time period of my pre-sex addiction. Um, and I think it's not even a lesson in really sex. It's just a lesson in having, like, letting people have control over you and your actions and people making you and you also allowing yourself to change into a person that you're not. And sometimes when we are in foreign categories and we're in foreign spaces, as they do as Romans do, when you're in Rome, do what Romans do, it it gets you get there sometimes. And I just was, I don't know, because I really am still kind of, I don't want to say I'm still in it. I'm still in my feelings, but I'm not in the sexual part of trying to mask or trying to fix my feelings with sex. And the advice I would give to people, and it's not just about sex, it's about with anything you just start doing that's not yourself, take a while to do it. Do it. Like for me, like I said, it was a 90-day AOL free trial. Like if you feel like it's something that you want to explore, go ahead, explore it. But also while you're doing your exploring, make sure that it's something that is fulfilling you, or if you feel like you want to stop or you want to change it, or even if you want to keep going, just I would say continue to be mindful of the things that you do and the things that might be making you do what you do. And yeah, I've calmed down on sex a lot, you know. I'm still I'm still available. So, but next year's my plan. If you too, and you want a piece of something sweet, holler at me. But yeah, that's what I would say. If I really feel like this is more of a video about coping mechanisms than anything. That's why I keep bringing up other stuff like shopping and drinking and spending money recklessly, because I want everybody to know that although for me it was set, that you should probably, if you're going through things and you're feeling sad or whatever, just start, just make sure that you keep track of yourself, because you're the only one. I said this all the time, and I'll end with this. There's three times in your life that I always say you are alone with your thoughts. This is when you sleep, when you shower, and when you shit. And in those moments, I feel like that's when I started to realize and I started to understand that what I was doing was not of me, and I wanted to change it. And so I would leave y'all with that. Just think about when you're in those three spaces. When you sleep, what do you dream about? When you're in the shower, you're washing off and you're thinking about your day. When you take a shit and you're sitting on the toilet and it's just you by yourself, just let those times be a reflection of what you're doing, because during those times, like, and then I keep saying I'm gonna end it, but I'm gonna end it because it was the time I was in the shower and I was literally in my head saying to myself, I'm washing this boy off of me. And I'm like, why am I having sex with somebody that I felt like I have to wash off of me? That sounds crazy. But again, when you're in those times by yourself, that's when you really realize what what is going on with you, and those are the times to be honest with yourself, and those are the times for you to find out whether you're going too far, whether you are pre or whether you're post, or if you're in it, what have you. um yeah, so that's it. I feel like, I hope this one was a little lighter. I'm still getting into deeper things because I do want this show to be about real life stuff, but it wasn't as dramatic as the other ones that I have done, darling. Like, the what was it? The almost wanted to unalive myself one and all that stuff. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. I was almost a sex addict, but I had to catch myself. And I caught myself. And again, like I said, if sex is your thing, sex is your thing. Um, I I like sex just like the other people, but I just don't have to have it as much as other people. And I would also leave y'all with saying that don't let other people turn you into somebody you are not.